Well, the Premier League story has dramatically changed. With just about 10 games to go now, 30 points on offer, every team would have played at least 27 or 28 games by the end of the weekend. And Manchester United, well, who would have thought it? Manchester City at the start of the season looked to be running away with it after 11 games unbeaten and then actually undefeated at all, no dropped points whatsoever. But as you can see, the story has dramatically changed. Manchester City's dip in form after their loss at the Manchester Derby completely tore their season to ribbons, and they fell apart drastically, actually, for a better term, I guess. And then lost Sergio Aguero in the January transfer window. We're going to go through the squads. Joe Pierre actually starts in goal for Manchester United this afternoon as Tuanzebe, Jones and Rojo in the defence. Cameron Moore gets another start. He's alongside Fred, Angel Gomez, Aaron Henwood and Jesse Zardes, Danny Williams and Marcus Rashford up front. And the reason for the squad shuffle is Manchester United's match with Galatasaray on Wednesday. Southampton's been proving a bit of a bogey club for Manchester United in the past. McCarthy starts in goal today. Cedric is with Stevens, Van de Gaard, I think, Howitt and Costa. James Ward-Prowse is always a firm scorer in this fixture. Lamella is with Hobart and Iwazali and Mina up front today. Rashford. Fred. Angel Gomez. I think it was tipped away by the keeper. Keeper seems to be celebrating. Well, went through everybody. And it is a fingertip save from the keeper. Good save by McCarthy. United corner. There's a brilliant save. Williams with the corner. It might have been Cameron Ward with the corner, actually. Zebe. Ward again. Good trick inside. Williams. Oh, and a great save by McCarthy. And the cross from Ward met by Danny Williams. And a great save from the keeper. Oh, Chelsea will be having one eye on this matchup. I'll be hoping that Southampton can pull another kind of bogey team kind of result against United. And Ward keeps the ball. It's fallen to Jesse Zardes. He's going to bring it down. And onside is Rashford. The goal will stand. Rashford's onside. 1-0 to United. A huge slice of luck in it. I don't think Jesse Zardes intended that as a pass. I would be surprised. But if he did, then very well executed. And of course, the result is inevitable when Marcus Rashford is in that position. Well, Cameron Ward just running to keep the ball here. It's chested down by Zardes, and I think he has a pop at it. I really do. His stature and the bounce of the ball, it bounces towards Rashford, who's onside, who cutely puts that in the corner. And that is just the form that Marcus Rashford is on, as Gregg Popovich will get one up on Mark Hughes. And that's the 13th goal in the league for Marcus Rashford. He continues to bang them in. That one had a slice of luck with how it fell to him off a Jesse Zardes strike, but they all count. Manchester United 1, Southampton 0, and when it's Marcus Rashford, the result is inevitable. And Ward again, he's lost the ball that time. Well, Cameron Ward has been doing great this first half. And Ward going to find Rashford. Marcus Rashford chips the keeper. Is it off the post? And it's away. It's away. It's cleared. Well, Marcus Rashford chipping it onto the post. Round the keeper. United throw. It was going across the goal line. Well, here's goal line technology to decipher that action for us. It is a great clear. That has gone over the line. That is a goal. That is a clear goal. And the goal line technology says no. The referee's watch did not go off. But that looks like a goal to me. Maybe the whole of the ball has got to go over the line in that instance. Before being signed onto Manchester United and fine-tuned through the academy, so technically he is an academy player. Just didn't technically start there at the start of his career. Well, Manchester United 1 goal up. They probably should be 2 for a rather questionable goal line technology decision that looks to have had the ball somewhat over the line, but maybe not fully. Marcus Rashford's goal had a slice of luck in it as well, because Jesse Zardes appeared to have shot the ball. The ball then bounced to Rashford, result inevitable. Manchester United 1, Southampton 0. Foul given by the referee on Marcus Rashford. He's finding it a bit difficult to get to his feet as the United fans gasp, because Marcus Rashford has been their top scorer for the season. He'll be taking off Marcus Rashford as a precaution, Coach Park, and he certainly is. And he does not want to risk Rashford the rest of his health for the Champions League game. Zaha is coming on for Cameron Ward as well. And Henwood tries to head it forward. He does get it forward to Danny Williams. He's picked out Angel Gomez. Gomez has gone down. Martial at the post. In comes Zardes, 2-0. And that is 3 points you have to feel now for United. 2-0. And this could be a perfect result for Coach Park today. Gomez takes a tumble onto the deck. Martial latches onto it and hits the post. And Zardes has a tap in. And he takes full advantage. And it's 2-0 to Manchester United. Easy as you like for Jesse Zardes. Many people thinking he will return to the MLS at the end of Gregg Popovich's tenure here. At the end of next season. But if he does, he has been a valuable asset to this Manchester United side. That's his 3rd goal in the league. To add to the 1 or 2 he's already got in the Champions League as well. Manchester United 2, Southampton 0. Looks like 3 points are heading to Old Trafford. He scored 1 header this season with the cross of Hunter. And Henwood, you're not going to beat him. And stopped by Martial, 3-0. And here comes the scoring doors now for United. Martial makes it 3-0. And it is curtains now for Southampton, you have to feel. And they've made that extra gear with the introduction of Martial and Zaha, probably proving the benefactors here. Aaron Henwood tries to take a shot, takes a deflection. Now the ball is in the air, Martial is onside. And it's an easy header as the defender misjudges the flight of the ball. Martial doesn't. 3-0. And that's another goal. Anthony Martial, he and Rashford continue their budding chemistry under that man. And continue to score goals. His goal, and it won't tell us. The caption has run too fast, unfortunately, but what is a confirmed result is it's Manchester United 3, Southampton 0. So it took a while, but it was Gregg Popovich who came in, and he has totally turned this team around. Yes, he finished 19 points behind Manchester City, but there was progression in that 19 points. Aaron Henwood, absolutely wonderful ball. Danny Williams, oh, it's saved by the keeper. Oh, Aaron Henwood, what a beautiful ball. If there's one person who's benefited from Coach Pop, it's him. Such beautiful passes this season. More goals for Manchester United, then 3-0 in the end. Southampton having no answer to the Gregg Popovich's relentless charge towards that 21st title for Manchester United. It's a win they vitally needed to get today against a team that has been considered a bogey team in the past. And another goal for Marcus Rashford, adding to the ones by Martial and Jesse Zardes, making another 3-0 scoring rout for United. Southampton with no answer, and Joel Pereira with a clean sheet. Manchester United 3, Southampton 0. The title race has changed again as Manchester United's 3-0 win propels them to the top of the table once again. Elsewhere, Brighton winning 3-2 against Huddersfield. A bit of a classic there. Chelsea dropped points against strugglers Fulham at Craven Cottage today with a 1-1 draw. And elsewhere in the London derby, it was a 1-1 draw between Tottenham Hotspur and Arsenal as well. Other results counting for Wolves beating Cardiff by 2-1 as Wolves now probably going to the Europa League places with a shooting up to 6th, as you can see. Watford losing to Leicester by 3-2 is the final score there. So, in the Premier League, Manchester United top the table now by 2 points thanks to Chelsea's dropped points at Fulham today. Spurs are sort of there or thereabouts all of a sudden again, aren't they? Everton have dropped down to 4th place now, and Spurs are up to 3rd. It really could go anywhere at this point, and like we said, a big change from the start of the season. Now with 10 games to go, it's all to play for. Manchester City in 5th, Wolves up to 6th and having an absolutely stellar season. And who's to say they won't get into the Champions League places, because they're only 3 points off those at the moment. Burnley on 45 in 7th, Arsenal on 44 on 8th. So it literally is all to play for, with 10 games to go or less, or a little bit more for some teams, as Burnley have a game in hand over them, as do Manchester City. West Ham in 9th, Liverpool completing the top 10. Leicester in 11th with Brighton in 12th. Brighton look to be pretty much heading towards safety at the moment. Chris Hughton's side grabbing a nice surge late in the season. Southampton in 13th despite their loss today. Bournemouth in 14th with Palace 15th. Watford 16th with Huddersfield. Despite their loss to Brighton, are still in the safe zone. 3 points clear of Newcastle United, who start the relegation places as we did. Relegation struggling Fulham earned a vital point against Chelsea today. And Cardiff City, well, it just doesn't seem to be getting any better. They even lost to Wolves, so they seem to be pretty much the first favourites to go down. Oh, it looked to be heading for Premier League dominance for Manchester City, but most recently, of course, they've dropped out of the top 4 after their mid-season slump since the loss in the Manchester Derby, the first one of the season. But there is trophy joy for Pep Guardiola as he's won a 3-0 against Everton in the Carabao Cup final. While on the other side of Manchester, well, they now have the long faces. Marcus Rashford went off in the game against Southampton. He looked to be not hobbling or really struggling, but further x-rays and synopsis has revealed that Marcus Rashford has set for a broken toe injury and will be out for 2 months, which effectively puts him out for the rest of the season. Manchester United are not goal dry, but now they've lost their top scorer by a long way, and we'll have to see how that affects them, as their star striker is out for indefinite till the end of the season, more or less. Joining Ander Herrera, Luke Shaw, and Tifu Mensah on the ever-growing injury list. Well, it might be advantage Manchester United in terms of the aggregate scoreline after returning from Turkey with a 2-1 win and an away goal advantage. But Manchester United season might have hit a possible roadblock with the most recent announcement of Marcus Rashford out injured with a broken toe for 2 months, effectively putting him out till most likely the end of the season. This and every game after it will be a test of their true mettle for Gregg Popovich this season, with an ever-growing injury list. There are the other scores for you that we'll keep an eye on throughout the next couple of weeks or so, as we finally decide the last 8 places in this season's competition. So Gregg Popovich has to adjust. 4-3-3 tonight. David De Gea back in goal with Borthwick Jackson, Dalot, with Maguire and Baye in the defence. The 3 midfielders, Pogba, Sanchez and Jesse Lingard. 3 up front being Pereira and Zaha, either side of Alex Hunter. And here is the Galatasaray lineup for you. Obviously, Makion is still carrying that yellow card that he acquired. I believe it was in the last matchup between these two. And I think it is pretty much the same lineup. Maybe Donk is a change that started at Turkey. So, Manchester United, how good are they without Marcus Rashford? That question will start to be answered tonight, because he will be without him for 2 months. Fortunately, it couldn't have come at a really better time for them in this case, in terms of starting, but they've got some really tough fixtures coming up. They've got Arsenal at some point, who they suffered a loss to in that 3 or 4 game slump that they had at the beginning of the season. It's just to navigate through this one for Coach Pop. If he navigates this, he will have most certainly improved. Fosu Mensah then suffered a training injury at the end of the January transfer window of all times. And Herrera was probably before a couple matches or so before Rashford with another training injury. It's a bit odd of all these training injuries that Gregg Popovich is suffering. It's a bit of a jinx, but Gregg Popovich was the man of voodoo magic in the NBA. Alex Hunter! It's 1-0. Well, that could be curtains already. And it's Alex Hunter with another Champions League goal. This kid is flying in this competition at the moment. Well, they might have lost Rashford, but they haven't lost any of their signature pass, shoot play. And that's what we said. If you give United a sniff of passing room, they will pass you off the pitch. And that is exactly what happened. And once again, a typical Gregg Popovich move has resulted in a goal. 1-0 to United and possible curtains for Galatasaray before this match has even started. That's his third goal in the Champions League. Alex Hunter is flying in this competition. Manchester United 1, Galatasaray 0 on the night. Now 3-0 on aggregate. That is the end of the first half here at Old Trafford. Job done for Manchester United, and not only that, they extended their advantage as well. As Gregg Popovich tries to show some progress in Europe, he's definitely going the right way about it. As Alex Hunter gave his team the lead and a 1-0 lead, which puts them 1-0 on the night, 3-0 on aggregate, and pretty much out of sight with that away goal advantage as well. They have a long way to go before they can get there. Alex Hunter adding more pieces of Hunter legacy to the ever-growing family legacy of the Hunters. Jim Hunter never winning the FA Cup. Manchester United still a part of that. And even a Hunter could be a Champions League winner by the end of the season. And as next for Manchester United will be Crystal Palace, former team of Wilfried Zaha a few seasons ago. Wilfried Zaha joining on a deal that involved Gregg Popovich giving the youth a shot. And Wilfried Zaha has definitely benefited from that in his third attempt at a Manchester United career. Hunter. Sanchez is away. Poor defending from Galatasaray. Alexis Sanchez. It's too easy. That is poor defending. You cannot do that for Alexis Sanchez. He will take those chances all day long. And where was the defending by Galatasaray? It was so poor. Look how much space Sanchez has here. The defender just runs off him, really. Sanchez makes it look absolutely a piece of cake. Absolute stroke by Sanchez. No need to put his foot through it. He had so much time and space because the Galatasaray defending was so poor. And it's 2-0 to United and 4-0 on the aggregate scoreline now. Third goal in the Champions League for Sanchez this season. It's hard to believe he's one of the rumoured players being out the door, but if he is a one-and-done servant for Manchester United this season, he's done his part. Manchester United 2, Galatasaray 0 on the aggregate scoreline. Manchester United 4, Galatasaray 1. And now, maybe more. Here's Andreas Pereira into the box. Where is the defending by Galatasaray? It's atrocious. It's 3-0. And just like at Southampton, it's a late game surge from United. But once again, the defending is nowhere. Galatasaray have literally waved the right flag. Andreas Pereira just strolling into the box. No defender was near him. He decided to take the shot on in the end. He was sport for choice. A pretty stunning strike by Pereira, to be fair. Look at that. That's a wonderful strike. Oh, we said Andreas Pereira against Brighton, I think it was. Maybe now his season can get kick-started. And his Manchester United career can get kick-started. He's now got his first ever Champions League goal. At least in a Manchester United shirt. United 3, Galatasaray 0. And on the aggregate score, United 5, Galatasaray 1. And that is the end of the game. Manchester United stroll into the last 8 as progression has been made for Coach Pop in Europe this season. I think he might just be on to win this. It is going to be very, very hard to do so. But who's to say that in Gregg Popovich's time, he won't win a Champions League trophy. It could be earlier than anticipated. I want to say maybe next season. I don't know, maybe this season is possible with the power that he has. And the first game without Marcus Rashford, if it goes like this, it'll be a stroll. Manchester United 3, Galatasaray 0 on the aggregate score. Manchester United 5, Galatasaray 1. So every match bar 2 has been played in terms of the second leg. So the state of play for the last 8 looks like this so far. Manchester City getting through by the skin of their teeth against Roma after a 2-1 win on the night, meaning they won 3-2 on aggregate in the end. An away goals rule has cost Liverpool their place in the last 8. Bayern Munich drawing with them on the night, but Bayern Munich's superior away goal record means that they win on the away goals rule after a 3-3 draw on aggregate. Atletico Madrid knocking out Juventus by 2-1 on aggregate after a 1-0 win in the second leg. Manchester United absolutely smashing Galatasaray in the end by 5-1. Dortmund and Real Madrid, Benfica and Napoli still have yet to be played. The state of game play for them so far is Real Madrid and Dortmund are 1-1 on aggregate, all tied up at the moment. Not sure who has the away advantage there. I'm guessing it's them, as in Madrid. Napoli having Benfica having a 1-0 lead to carry over into the second leg there. Elsewhere, there are another 2 confirmed scorelines. Barcelona getting through on aggregate by 4-1 after beating Hoffenheim by 2-0 on the night. Schalke and Inter had a 2-all draw, but Inter went through 4-2 on the aggregate score. The last 16 has also been played in the Europa League so far. Chelsea leading against Monaco by 1-0. Arsenal leading Paris Saint-Germain by 2-0. Frankfurt and Fenerbahce having a bit of a classic, but Frankfurt ahead by 3-2. Standard Liège ahead of Leverkusen by 2-1. Lyon ahead of Marseille by 2-1. Also the same scoreline for Bordeaux, Milan and Sporting CP 1 goal apiece. And that's the same state of play between Real Betis and RB Salzburg.